Today, we're diving into an essential part of the home buying journey, the appraisal process. Whether you're a first time home buyer or a seasoned homeowner, understanding how appraisals work is critical. And if you're a veteran or using a VA loan, there are unique aspects we'll cover that you need to know about. I'm David Piatek, and I've helped thousands of military members and their families navigate the VA home loan process. I'm here to guide you through every detail from what appraisers are VA specific looking for, also including Tidewater, reconsideration of value, and structural considerations that go with that. We're going to cover all of that. By the end of this video, you'll feel confident about tackling the appraisal process, whether you're purchasing your dream home or making an investment for your future. And if you've experienced or experiencing some of these challenges or misconceptions we talk about in this video, please drop a comment below. And if you find value in content like this, please hit the like and subscribe button to get the most up-to-date information. So let's get started. First, let's define what an appraisal is. Simply put, an appraisal is a professional independent opinion on a home's market value conducted by a third party and ordered by the lending institution. This value helps your lender determine how much they're willing to lend to you to ensure the purchase price reflects the property's value, protecting both you and the lender from overpaying on a property. Now, here's the thing. Appraisals are subjective, and if you took 5 appraisers and asked them to complete an appraisal, you would most likely get 5 different values. Purchases are a little different in the sense that an appraiser gets a copy of the sales contract so they see a target amount someone is going for. Now, does that sway their opinion in any way? Drop a comment with your thoughts. Now, here's something important to understand. Appraisers are licensed professionals, and for VA home loans, the lender is the one who orders the appraisal through the VA in their portal. Now, appraisers are independent. They don't represent the buyer, the seller, or their lender. Their job is to provide an unbiased assessment based on data and evidence. Now, here is a bonus. Some appraisers are also realtors and adhere to the Realtor Code of Ethics, which can ensure even higher standards of professionalism, but it is also a way for them to be able to access the multiple listing service to get information they need. So when do you need an appraisal? Now, for most traditional home purchases, an appraisal is required. If you're taking out a mortgage, lenders rely on the appraisal to determine the loan to value ratio, also known as LTV. Now, this is a percentage of the home's price that you're going to borrow. And for VA loans, appraisals are almost always required. This is because the VA has its minimum property requirements, also known as MPRs, to ensure the house is safe, sound, and sanitary. Now, if you're paying cash, you don't need an appraisal, but it's still a good idea to get one. It provides a third-party opinion of the property's value, giving you peace of mind that you're not overpaying. Also, the VA does not require a home inspection, but they encourage you to get one. I personally strongly encourage you to get one, and not only that, you should attend the home inspection because the report is very long, detailed, and it could seem like the house is falling apart even on a new construction. But if you attend, the home inspector will really tell you what's going on, and in most of the time, it's really not that bad. Now, in certain cases, some lenders, including those working with VA loans, might waive the appraisal requirement. This is where, and usually depends on very specific circumstances. I did a video not that long ago breaking down what circumstances the VA allows for appraisal waivers. A couple of them are for interest rate reduction refinance loans, along with certain cases with down payment and appraiser availability. And that's really very dependent. So what exactly does an appraiser look for? Appraisers evaluate a variety of factors, including property condition, size, location, and amenities. They also examine recent renovations or improvements to the property and the surrounding area. One key tool appraisers use is the multiple listing service, also known as the MLS. This allows them to compare your property to similar recently sold homes known as comps to determine the value of a property. Now, one thing that I want you guys to note with that as well is that there's also private listings and closings that do not come up on this MLS. So it is imperative that if you have access to this or you're a realtor out there watching this video, make sure you track those and provide them to the appraiser when you meet with them, because that is another important part of that process. The more prepared you are, the better or the easier it is to get through a transaction. Now, for VA loans, the appraisal also ensures the property meets the MPRs. These requirements focus, like we mentioned, on safety, soundness, and sanitary conditions of the property. If the appraiser identifies a dilapidated structure on the property, say an old shed, they can require you to make repairs. Now, you have the ability to ask them to exclude that from the appraisal, and you won't have to do those repairs. Now, this is unique to VA loans, and you can save borrowers costly repairs because now buyers can opt to do an escrow account, not an attorney, but we do these often, is that if there's some thing wrong with the property, normally, as long as it's not a safety issue, but it is very subject to your exact situation. So that's something maybe you want to ask your lender, like, do they even offer you to do escrow holdbacks to purchase a property? And again, I did a whole video around understanding that, because that is in a video in itself. But if you do remove that property from the consideration of the appraisal, just note that you will, that structure won't count towards the appraised value, and that can be pretty significant, especially if you're buying a let's say you're if you're omitting a, let's say, a garage, that could be significant value that would be taken away from that. Now, there are a few different type of appraisals. The most common one is an in-person appraisal, where the appraiser physically inspects the property. However, for some transactions, hybrid or desktop appraisals are used. These involve collecting data remotely or consulting with trusted third-party sources. For VA loans, in-person appraisals are standard. This ensures the property meets both the lender's requirement and the VA's MPR requirements as well. Now, let's talk about a feature exclusive to VA home loans, and that is Tidewater. If an appraiser feels the home's value may not meet the purchase price, they invoke Tidewater. This allows your real estate agent to step in and provide additional sales or comps to help the appraiser arrive at a more accurate value. Now, I want to note something, because sometimes people will rush to, let's say, get an appraisal, but if you need a comp, okay, to close, you have to wait until that comp is closed in order for the appraiser to go out. Because if you bought a home, let's say the appraiser went out on the 2nd of December, and then you needed a sale that closed on, let's say, December 7th, they wouldn't be able to use that as consideration for your property because the sale closed after the appraiser went out. So be strategic in what you're doing when it comes to this appraisal process, and hopefully your agent and lender are aware of these requirements, and you guys could just game plan it out. Now, this is a game changer because it gives buyers and sellers a chance to address potential issues before the appraisal report is finalized. It's just one of the ways the VA program works to protect the veteran. Now, what happens if an appraisal value differs, right? So you have a couple things. Sometimes the appraised value doesn't match the purchase price. When this happens, it can affect how much your lender is willing to finance. Now, if this happens with the VA loan, you have the option after the Tidewater is to request a reconsideration of value, or also known as a ROV. If you believe key information was missed, like a recent renovation overlooked sales comp again before the appraiser went out to the property, you can request that the appraiser reevaluate those findings. Now, this process is pretty straightforward, and your lender and agent will guide you through that. It's another way the VA makes the VA home loan even more of a tool for you to be able to use. Now, one thing I want to note when it comes to this is normally how I see it. If property values come in higher than the purchase price, you're good to go. You basically pocket that equity. Now, something unique that you can do, which I've seen done and we've done, is that you can go back, increase the sales price to get a seller credit for that additional money. Now, not every lending institution will do that for you, but it's definitely something that we've done in the past, so consider that. If it comes in on the money, you're good to go. The challenge comes in is when it comes in lower, what do you do at that point? And what can you do to be able to do that? So this kind of is a reminder that the VA does have a VA mandatory escape clause that allows you to back out of a transaction if the appraisal comes in low and the sellers won't negotiate with you. You can get your earnest money back. You sign it when you do the application. Now, in some areas, for example, they will actually include that in their sales contract, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. Now, for some veterans in a competitive market, they're okay to pay the difference, but it's not for everyone, and you need to have the money to pay the difference. We've seen as little as $1,000 up to $100,000 difference. Again, it's really everyone's financial picture is different, and where they're purchasing also is different. Now, once the appraisal is completed, you receive a copy of that report. You receive a copy of the report once a notice of value is completed by a SAR, which is certified by the VA as an underwriter for that specific lending institutions. For VA loans, this is required, ensuring transparency. Make sure you review the report carefully, and if you have questions or you spot errors, talk with your lender to see if they can update them. Common ones, to be honest with you, are mostly like they misspelled the client's name or something like that. That's pretty much like the main one. And then they just need to get it cleared up. Now, to wrap things up, appraisals are a vital part of the home buying process. For veterans using the VA loan, the program offers unique features like Tidewater, reconsideration of value, and flexibility with dilapidated structures. These tools ensure you're protected whether you're buying your first home or your forever home. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And please share our information and our videos, and I'll catch you guys soon.